Like I said, there were so many questions, so let's jump into the next 4. And the first question is, Katie, the higher ups in my office made this policy where people cannot eat at their desks anymore. I know it doesn't sound like a big thing, but my therapist had suggested that I have small snacks throughout the day since I have really weird hours. My lunch is at a normal person's dinner, and my dinner is when I'd really like to be going to bed. And my breaks are really close to my lunch. I didn't know if you have any suggestions because that had really been working to help with my eating. But now that loophole is gone, I don't want to get another RA. I feel like I already have too many because of my chronic illnesses. And I don't want to push my luck or be the weird one who can get around something that should be a really simple change. I think this is a good question because many of us struggle to speak up and tell people what our needs are. And I know you said you don't want to get another RA, but that may be the best thing for you. And isn't your health and your physical health and psychological health the most important thing? I would argue that it is. And so if you feel comfortable, maybe look into getting another one. But if you really don't want to and you're really feeling frustrated, I would talk to your direct boss about it. And I would say, hey, because my schedule is so odd and I'm working these different hours, I have been snacking at my desk and I was hopeful that I could continue doing that. And you could even say, I will be super respectful. I will clean up after myself. If it's an issue, will you come to me and let me know? I'm open to hearing. We're going to have to start the conversation is really what I'm saying, because it's something it's helpful for you and it's something that you need to keep doing. And so we have to find a way to make it happen. Talk to your boss. I would even talk to people that you work with if you're worried that they're going to think you're the weird one. I find when I think that people are looking at me and thinking I'm weird, they're so preoccupied with their own shit they don't care. But it never, it doesn't hurt to say something just so they know you don't think you're like getting away with anything crazy or being weird. You can tell them why it helps if you feel comfortable. That way you don't feel like people are judging you or anything like that. But talking to your bosses, potentially getting an RA, are all things that I really think you should consider, because that used to not be an issue, but now it's a rule. And if it was at the beginning, you probably would have already put that RA in place. So, weigh and measure your own mental health and physical health, and then make the decision that's best for you. The second question for today's video is, how do you reach out and tell your therapist about a very recent trauma? So many fears. Instead of letting her in, I find myself relapsing with self-harm and eating disorder issues. I just can't seem to do anything but put the mask on for her. But I don't know why. She is great and she is the support I've needed my whole life. I'm feeling very lost. First, know that wanting to shut down and not wanting to let people in or be supported is very normal following a trauma. And I'm so sorry that you had something happen to you recently. But that's usually our automatic response. It can take us a while to not feel so closed off or on edge that we can actually talk to somebody and let somebody else in. So be patient with yourself. Allow yourself the time you need to open up. I would encourage you, if you feel able, to write something down and bring it in and hand it to her. Say, something happened, I'm having a tough time talking about it. Maybe you can come up with some ideas of things she could do to help you feel more safe and soothed. Maybe there's things you can do at home to do the same for you, like if it's taking a bath, or if it's go getting a massage, or painting your nails, or coloring, or watching, a certain show that makes you feel good, or listening to music. Whatever you can do, make sure you're doing enough to take care of yourself on the outside, so we can maybe speed up that process, help you feel, a little safer, and let those walls down so we can let your therapist in. And I know that's not like a quick fix or a quick answer, but it's normal following a trauma to be completely shut down and to not be able to talk about it or let people in. Give yourself the time you need, but make sure you're doing as much as you can to take care of yourself. Because I know you said your self-harm and eating disorder are coming back. Maybe you can just let your therapist know that that's happening, that you relapse and things are happening that way. Maybe there's a way. I always try this with my clients, and I know that they probably hate it, but maybe love it. I don't know. But it's like, your house is completely locked up right now. Like you as a person, your house is locked down, and you can maybe help your therapist find that one window that's cracked open. I know that sounds really creepy, but it's just my way of like getting in and finding out the information that we're struggling to share, but we so desperately need to. And so maybe talking about the eating disorder and self-harm relapse will help let her in. So then she can be in there with you in the lockdown house, even help you feel safe and help you open up. So let's try some other avenues, some other ways we can talk about what's going on that isn't talking directly about the situation. See if that works and let me know. Third question for this video is, hey Katie, I'm not even sure how to really verbalize this. The best analogy I can think of is, I feel like a whack-a-mole. I love that analogy. I've been in therapy for about a year and a half, initiated by major stressors, caring for my only living parent with Alzheimer's and cancer and other major family issues, major changes in nearly every important area to me. And therapy has helped me so much, and I've actually been able to start working on other issues I've wanted to deal with for a long time. But every time I feel like I'm getting back to normal, something else major comes up and knocks me down. I get anxious, sad, kind of depressed all over again, and I can't sleep and can't concentrate at work, feel like crying a lot, and on and on. Then I get frustrated with myself for not being stronger. So I guess my question is, how does one build resiliency? And I think I should probably do more videos on resiliency, and there's a ton of research that I would need to do to talk specifically about how to build up resiliency, because we're learning more every day. Super exciting. But with regard to this question, I think a lot of us feel like whack-a-mole because life isn't predictable. We can't control what happens around us, and often we find ourselves in shitty situations. When we finally think something good's happening, boom. And then when it rains, it pours, and it just gets worse. So know that you're not alone. But the best way that we can, set ourselves up for success and start building some resiliency is inside. Meaning, work on how you talk to yourself and your own self-confidence first. And I know I say that all the time and you're probably really annoyed, but I promise it helps. It helps so much. That's the reason that I say it all the time. So start talking nicer to yourself. Start complimenting yourself before you leave the house, before you walk into work, when you leave work. I want you to be so nice to yourself that you almost gross yourself out. And then after that, I want you to build your external supports. I want you to call friends, reconnect, talk to people that you used to talk to at work, make plans. Whoever it is that supports you and is caring and you can make more time for them, make more time, do those things. I promise by working on ourselves, doing some self-care and some good self-talk, and then having more people around us, that's truly how we build resiliency. It's like from the ground up, and that's where we can start. The fourth and final question for this video is, Katie, I have a question about sexism that I hope is not offensive. The women that I grew up around were all varying degrees of manipulative, controlling, or just harsh. Most of the bullying that I went through as a kid was from the girls instead of the other guys. As an adult, I seem to gravitate or attract other women who are a lot like the women that I grew up with. That is very common. Logically, I know that not all women are like that, but I worry that I'll never be good enough or that women I meet will turn out to be like my mom or my aunts. Most help I see for this topic online tends to come from more toxic communities. Is there a way to deal with how I see women in a healthy way? Yes. Something that I've done with a lot of my clients, because you're not alone, and no, this isn't offensive. A lot of people, however the abuse was sustained, whoever did that to us, we often have trouble with people who look like them, smell like them, sound like them, have the same genders, dress the same. There's so many ways that we can almost be triggered by other people. And it's normal to be attracted to and attract people similar to the abusive person. So there's a couple things we can do. With my clients, I usually have them talk about how the women in their life were and to make a list of all the attributes, good, bad, ugly. Then I want you to talk about other women that you've encountered. Have you met other people who are different? Because I know you have. Like you said, not all women are like that. You don't want to see all women like that. So I encourage you to start practicing this. You see a woman on TV. You see someone in line at Starbucks that's really nice to you and smiles. I want you to immediately think about that person and think, well, my mom wouldn't have done that. This person's actually very sweet and they are kind, and look at them and they're working so hard. I know this sounds really weird, but we have to start building up other people who we normally would see as the same as your mom or aunt or whomever. We need to start differentiating them from those people. And if you find people in your life are very similar to your mom and aunt, get away from them. They're toxic. You will be attracted to them, but we have to change that, and the only way to do that is to start teasing it out and improving to ourselves that people are different. And the second way we can do that, because that's kind of in our thoughts too, is to take it another step and to argue back. So whenever you find your brain saying, well, all women are terrible and this, she's just such a garbage human and they're always so mean, or whatever it is that we say, I want you to argue back and be like, that's not true. That's true for her and her. But so far, all I know about this person is blank, blank, blank. Stick to the facts and argue back. Don't let it run you in a spiral and let you believe that, you're going to think all women are like that, because you're not like that. I know that's not who you are. We just have to fight it before it takes over. I hope you found those answers helpful. Thank you so much for your support. I know I say it all the time, but I couldn't do what I do without you. Thanks for sending in your questions. I hope you're finding these helpful, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.